What's up everyone, Brandon here from Gearist. Today we're going to be taking a look at the lightweight waterproof glove from Hanz, or maybe it's Hanz, one way or another. These gloves. As I'm recording this, it is currently February in the great state of Colorado, February of 2016, and that means for us winter sports junkies or four-season sports junkies that getting outside is a crucial part even when it's chilly. Now of course that does mean that I'm getting out there doing things like skiing and snowshoeing and hiking and all those kind of things that you do in the winter, including building snowmen with your daughter, sledding and things like that. But that also doesn't mean that I ditch those key summer sports like running and hiking and trail running and cycling, mountain biking, all these things. All of these things still take place here in Colorado in the winter. So it is important to me personally and to a lot of other people out there to have a really versatile, lightweight glove that we can just kind of throw on at a moment's notice. And nothing is really better than that than a knit glove. However, one of the things that is not fun is having those knit gloves get soaked by whatever activity you're doing, whether you're picking up snow because you're having to change out, take skins off your skis, or having to swap this or boot pack or what have you. You really want a glove that's going to keep your hands dry. That is where these guys come in, these gloves from Hanz. Now, over the course of this review, I'm not going to be able to show you guys this the whole time just because I need to set it down, but I have a bowl of water here. Now, over the course of this review, I'm going to do something that you guys aren't going to be able to see the entire time because I actually have to set this thing down. But this right here is a bowl of water, and this is the right-hand glove. Now, I'm going to put this in here the entirety of the time I'm recording this, which, believe me, is not just the few minutes that you're watching it. There's actually quite a bit of back-end stuff. And I'm going to pick it up, put it right back on, just to see how well that waterproofness is held up over the course of filming this review. The Hanz lightweight waterproof glove is actually made of 3 layers that are bonded together to create the glove that we see here. The first layer, which is that white that you can see right there, is actually a wicking layer meant to manage the moisture that is on the inside, basically the sweat that your hands are going to produce, or in the case where you get down in water above your wrist, above where the wristband of this comes, it's going to manage that moisture as well by keeping it away from your hands, because as we know, moisture is a great conductor of heat, and so it can pull really that heat away from your body wherever it is and make you too cold. This layer is actually really soft, feels fantastic against the skin, and not what you would expect from a waterproof glove. Yes, it is what you would expect from a knit glove, but not from waterproof gloves, so it's a really great against the skin layer. The second layer of the glove, which you can't see because it's kind of in the middle of these two, is a nice waterproof MVT layer, moisture vapor transfer. This layer is meant to allow the sweat or whatever other moisture might get in there to be able to get away from the hand, while at the same time keeping elements from the outside from getting in there. Finally, the shell of the glove, the outer part that we see here, is a lycra nylon spandex combination that really feels amazing. It feels just like a knit glove. Very, very soft, and since it is all synthetic material, very, very durable. The palms and fingers of the gloves, which you can see there, covered by these little silicone dots that are going to really add a good amount of grip. I found myself when I had things that were slick, these went a long way to really grabbing that, even better than my fingers would have done. One of the coolest parts to me is that these gloves are completely seamless inside and out. There are no stitches up here or anything like that. There's a little crosshatch right there, but effectively on the inside, the parts that are going to be against your skin are seamless, making for a very comfortable fit, especially if you've got a pole, like a trekking pole or a ski pole, if you're going backcountry or something like that, and you've got this constant motion that's going to be pulling and there's a chance for chafing or something like that. This such a lightweight glove right up against the skin, to have no seams like that, is a really key feature. From a comfort aspect, I felt these to be extremely comfortable. One possible exception, which really isn't that much of an exception, is that as I hold my finger up here, you can see how it's kind of pointed on the end. Now the reason for that is as it's packed, as it's stored and shipped to you, it comes in a package that is very flat. So when it's stored, it's coming like that. Now, I think this is just essentially a crease that has formed along there. It's not really uncomfortable, it just kind of sits up there, so I felt like it was worth pointing out. Thus far this season, I have worn this thing while skiing, snowshoeing, hiking, snowman building, sledding. I stuck my hand in a river for some pictures quite a few times. I actually took a gold pan up somewhere, and we were panning for a little gold with my daughter just to see what that was all about. And and it has stayed completely dry on the inside the entire time. It is really very impressive. So with that in mind, let's talk about the performance. Each of these gloves upon manufacturing is pressure tested to make sure that everything's kind of solid inside. Now, in doing a little bit of digging online, I have found where people have had bad experiences with this, and I have to wonder what's going on there. I feel like there's got to be some sort of extenuating circumstance, like a cut or a nick in the outside, or that's going through that MVT layer, because I experienced none of that at all. Again, we've got a glove sitting right here in this water the entire time we're doing this review, which I will put on in a minute, and I just have not noticed anything wet. You may feel cold. If I put my hand in this creek, for instance, and it was below freezing, you certainly feel that cold, but in terms of moisture, I didn't really feel anything. Now, the first time I wore these gloves possibly was an exception to that, not feeling any moisture on the inside, but not for the reason that you'd think. I wore them running. Now, it was about 20 degrees outside, and it was a pretty general kind of 30%-ish humidity Colorado night, 20 degrees, and when I put them on, I did notice that they're so warm that my hand actually began to sweat quite a bit, and I actually had to wind up taking them off. But I was nowhere near any water, well, except for I was running beside a creek. I was nowhere near touching any water, and yet still there was kind of this moisture inside from the amount of heat. I think this is a good problem to have. It means that when you need this, even in more extreme conditions, even though this is not the warmest glove that Hanz makes, you're still going to be able to put on a glove and it's going to perform above and beyond much of where you might actually need it. I found that generally speaking, if I'm just wearing this glove by itself and I'm not doing anything super vigorous, that my threshold is about 10 degrees with this. Again, on their scale, this is an H2, I think is what Hanz rates it as, which means it is kind of at the lower end of their warmth spectrum. But again, on that 20-degree night when I was running, my hands actually got quite warm. So if I'm just wearing this like walking with my daughter or something like that, it's going to be right about 10 degrees where I might consider putting on something a little heavier. If I'm in the middle of activity or something like that, it's different. I don't know where that threshold lies because it really depends on the type of activity and exactly what I'm doing, but I can tell you that it is below that 10-degree threshold. Now, while you guys have been so patiently waiting, let's pick up this bowl full of water with a glove sitting in it and see what it's all about. Here is that bowl. Here is that glove, which as you can see, the outside is holding some water, which is kind of pretty typical. And I'm gonna set the bowl down so I don't drop everything. You can see that it is still dripping water. Maybe you can see that it's still dripping. Trust me, it's still dripping water. And I'm gonna put my hand in it and we're going to, in fact, feel if it is still dry. And I'm telling you right now, it's still astounding to me. This has been sitting in that bowl for probably around 7 minutes now. Totally bone dry on the inside. My hand feels nothing. It feels the same way as it did with the completely dry glove on. As I've said a few times so far, the most impressive thing for me is it's such a thin glove can be simultaneously so warm and completely waterproof in my experience. This is a really key glove that I think a lot of people, pretty much anyone that spends a lot of outside time in the winter, in the fall, in the spring, what have you, this is a great glove for that. You can fold them down, put them in your pocket, stash them in a pack, what have you, but you've still got that element of waterproofness and warmth taken with you. The big bonus feature, which some might balk at this because it's just a knit glove, right? That's what you see, just a knit glove, is that this thing is $30. You can check the buy links we've got down in the description where it may actually be even a little bit cheaper, but this glove came in at $30. Really like it. Definitely something you want to check. Now, before we give you guys the question of the day, please don't forget to like and favorite. There's water going everywhere. Like and favorite this video, and please subscribe to our channel. We really need your help and support in subscribing and sharing our channel with your friends. So thank you so much for doing that. And now, here is the question of the day, and that is, what is your temperature threshold when you're getting out to wearing a glove? Is it right around 40 degrees or is it much, much lower? And if that is affected by the type of activity you're doing, let us know. We want to hear all your comments down in the comments section below. Thank you guys so much for spending a few minutes with us today. Don't forget to like, favorite, and follow us on our social media outlets, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Strava right up there, and especially subscribing to our YouTube channel, which you can do so by clicking that little YouTube button right over there, as well as sending us an email at info@gearist.com. We'd love to hear from you guys and love to get questions rather, for our Ask Gearist question. Thank you guys so much for spending a few minutes with us today, and we will see you next time.